Okay, so here we are, conversation recording number 2. I guess we're not calling it a podcast yet because we don't know what it is. Last week, Panos, Martin, and myself decided to record our first conversation to figure out what the hell is going on with AI and can 3 different people in 3 different situations make sense of it and record our challenges and failures and wins sort of live and share it with people. So what we've done is we decided to use a tool called Riverside, which was our first sort of reach into AI, and we recorded the podcast and it edited and did everything for us, but we have no idea what to do with it. So we set the challenge of, okay, let's use AI, and we all chose a couple of different AI tools each, which we'll discuss, to come up with the strategy for whatever we can make of this. On my end, I'm interested in helping small to medium-sized businesses with their operations and implement AI as good as it can get. And I'm going to prove if it works on these shows. Martin's interested in really learning more about it and using that in his teaching. And Panos is interested in being a guinea pig and building his business and optimizing his business through AI. Is just a small nutshell of why we're here and what our motivations are for this. So without further ado, I think, Martin, I'll hand over to you. Tell us your interpretation of the challenge. Tell us what you did, on how you went to complete it, what tools you did, and share anything you can.
Okay, cool. All right, so I want to talk about 2 things before I do that. The first thing is I've been working this week, I've been teaching this week, and I've been using AI again to produce like millions of images, which has just made the whole job of presenting anything so much easier. And because I was telling you previously, I've had like these little characters that I've used in my decks forever that cost me $20, $15, and there's not been much else I can do with it. Whereas now what I did is I uploaded that little character 6 months ago, and now I have that character doing whatever it is that I like. So I've got all of these amazing. So if I need a funny character, if I need a joking character, a juggling character, or whatever, it's literally like 2 or 3 minutes away with ChatGPT. So that's really cool. Maybe I'll show you some of those characters later on if there's time. Yes,
One
Alex?
note on that. I wonder what that means for future IP. So like in the news, I don't know when we're releasing these podcasts or wherever they're going, but relative to now, right? I think it's Disney and Universal are taking Midjourney to court because you can use Star Wars characters, you can do whatever you want in Midjourney and there's no IP license. So on a much smaller scale, you paid $20 once for that artist's work, but now you can manipulate it. So I wonder what the licensing means. Like if you had like a Creative Commons license or whatever it's called to be able to do whatever you wanted with that character, or if you just had the 20 odd stances of him. So I wonder
Yes.
how this is going to play out. And this Disney Universal versus Midjourney will probably really set the precedent for that and change a lot of this moving forward. So I think you're okay for now.
Yeah, can we just pretend I didn't say that I spent $20 and then uploaded that character? Can we pretend that I didn't say that? To be fair, the characters I'm producing don't look anything like the original character. So I think I'll be okay if it goes to court. But interestingly, with ChatGPT, you can't, because I wanted, like I was telling people about stories and the hero's journey and those things. So I wanted to use Star Wars as an example. And I'm like, okay, give me a Luke Skywalker type character. Doesn't have to look like it, and it wouldn't do it. And it's like, okay, give me a Darth Vader. It gave me a pretty nice Death Star, but the copyright thing is going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. The other thing I want to say about my discovery of working with AI this week, is I always thought I was a procrastinator, and I don't think I am a procrastinator anymore. I think what I am is someone with like a short attention span. Because what I feel like is I was never making enough progress before for it to be interesting. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now I'm smashing it out of the park. I'm getting stuff done. Like if I sit down for an hour, I feel like I've got an hour's worth of work done. Whereas previously I might have sat down for a week and I think I've got an hour's worth of work done. So my productivity is through the roof. Like work that would have taken me weeks and months before is now getting done maybe in a week. So that's my feeling about working with AI this week. I've done it. I'm going to continue to do it. I've got to put another course together now next week. So that would have taken me weeks previously, and I expect to get it done in a week. So my productivity is up. My feelings about being a procrastinator are down, and my creativity is fantastic. I mean, my decks look better than they've ever looked. It's insane. There's something else I'm doing that might represent some kind of copy restriction. infraction, so we won't talk about that exactly. But previously, if you quoted somebody in your deck, you had to go to Google Images and you'd find the shittiest little image of them and you'd have to put it up. And obviously, the images aren't consistent across the slides because some people have decent photos and other people don't. Whereas now, all of my images as all of the people are amazing and they're all in great quality and they're all consistent. So I felt the benefit of working with AI this week, and I did this little bit of work. I only did it today. I did it in the full knowledge that you'd gone away and spent 5 hours on it last Friday. So I was determined not to spend 5 hours on it. So the amount of time I have spent is 40 minutes today and this afternoon, and then because I messed up the time and I was here half an hour early, I've spent half an hour taking the stuff out and actually using it a little bit to see what it is. So my understanding of the task was to come up with some kind of strategy for whatever it is that we're doing here, because even though whatever it is we're doing here, and I decided that I was going to use DeepSeek to do that, and then I've used a little bit of ChatGPT at the end. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. I'm actually really impressed with what it's come up with. Because you will know from my digital marketing days, Alex, when we got together, like I've spent quite a lot of time working on strategies for people, and it's been quite difficult. And if AI had existed in 2005, when I started my business, I'd have probably been a lot more successful because what it's come up with is really, really quite useful, I think. Do I need to make this bigger for the sake of the thing or not? So the original prompt here I put in was, you think it's good? So the original prompt is, I need a business and brand strategy for 3 guys who are on a journey to work out how to get more value from AI and to share that experience through a 90-minute weekly YouTube conversation. The guys are a video content service provider, a corporate trainer and keynote speaker, and an operational specialist for SMEs. How do you suggest we go about achieving these goals? So I don't know how that compares with where you guys started.
I positioned mine a bit differently, but let's say the core of
Okay.
who we are. I mean, that's all we know, right? What the 3 of us want. So I think that core is there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just instigated mine a bit differently.
Okay, good.
Similar, but I put more like the mentorship thing, that you were the mentor of Alex and Alex was the mentor of me, and then that I want to use whatever we are creating into my business. So it's a bit more personal, but yeah, it's similar.
Interesting.
Okay. And what I found myself doing today, which I hate myself for, is what I was disgusted about when you were here in Bali, Alex. When was that? Was that a year ago or 2 years ago?
2
You know,
years
you
ago,
were
yeah.
saying, oh, please imagine you're this kind of person and would you mind, and all that stuff. So I did find myself today saying, oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Anyway, so if we're going to do this, I think we should put a time limit on it because there's quite a lot here. So I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes. So we'll have 15 minutes each, and then we can break them down to like 3 clips. Anyway, so this is where I started. So it suggested that we need to define our core purpose and unique value proposition. So the mission could be helping professionals and businesses unlock AI's potential through actionable insights, real-world experimentation, and collaborative learning. Our unique value proposition: 3 experts from different fields, content, training, operations share their AI learning journey, blending practical tips, strategic discussions, and diverse perspectives. And the hook would be 90 minutes, 3 perspectives, 0 fluff. Join us weekly as we test, fail, and master AI tools to save you time and grow your business. It recommends that we target small business owners seeking operational efficiency, corporate trainers and speakers wanting to integrate AI, content creators, tech-curious professionals from different industries, with themes like AI for video production, script writing, editing tools, AI corporate training, personalized learning, ChatGPT for workshops, AI for SME operations, automation, data analysis, etc., ethical debates, future trends, and guest interviews. So this is all coming from that first prompt. Then it went into content strategy, weekly 90 minutes, AI experiment of the week, hot take debate, Q&A, AMA, answer audience questions. These are kind of the things that we were talking about. And then it suggested that we repurpose content for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, etc. It's not saying Instagram. In terms of branding and channel identity, it said pick something memorable and AI related, like the AI Human Lab, 3 Guys and AI, the 90-minute AI download. Visuals, consistent thumbnails, etc. Intro, outro graphics. Tone, conversational but authoritative. Balance humor with expertise. Avoid jargon. Focus on relatable analogies. And then for the marketing, it suggests we invite guests and do some networking. Use tools like TubeBuddy, which is something I've used before on my channels. Create a community around Discord and LinkedIn. Cross-promote across other platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter. We could add TikTok, I think, and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And monetization, it recommends YouTube ads, sponsorships, and then premium content in the future, paid webinars, workshops, affiliate marketing, so sharing AI tool links, and maybe eventually custom consulting, which I know is what you're interested in. So the metrics, we know what metrics are. Leverage your strengths, Video Pro, lead production quality, multi-camera graphics, trainer speaker, host dynamic discussions and structure episodes. Ops specialists provide practical step-by-step frameworks. And then example episode titles: can AI replace our video editing jobs? We tested 5 tools. How SMEs can automate 10 plus hours a week with AI. The dark side of AI, ethical dilemmas we're ignoring, etc. So this all came from that first prompt. How does that compare with what you guys got from your first prompt?
From my perspective, yeah, it's super similar. Maybe the order of things is a bit different, and I maybe like Panos went in at a bit of a biased approach. I'm not sure, but overall the outcome seems similar. Mine is just a bit more detailed on some areas in how the funnel will work and prices and things.
Yes. Okay, so then I told them I didn't upload the first conversation, but then it came up with more stuff. So it's like, okay, it's great that you've started. Here's some things to think about, refining the structure, etc. Refining the structure. What did I get to that's more interesting? How are we doing with the time? 11 minutes. So talking about assigning roles. So I should be the host or moderator because I'm a natural speaker, supposedly. The AI tool tester should be the Panos, the video content controller. We should build episodes around hooks. So there's quite a lot here. And then it suggests we try AI experiments, key takeaways. So there's lots here. And then I asked it more about the target audience. So who do you imagine is going to find this exercise the most useful and get the most value from it? We need actual demographics. We feel that we need to be targeting those people who will be the next group to start leveraging the tech. Maybe you can guide us on who is leveraging AI already and who will be next. So then it gave me some information about the earlier majority, the current AI adopters, who they are. And then it went to the next wave, the early pragmatists, which we think is probably our audience. So who these people are: age 35 to 55, traditional small, medium-sized enterprises, corporate professionals, agencies, marketing agencies, legal firms, PR agencies, etc. And the psychographics are things that we've referenced. So fear of falling behind, competitive pressure, is AI secure, reliable for my business? I don't have time to learn another tool, etc. How does this apply to my industry? And then the future adopters, who will be the late majority. And there's information then here on how to target those particular people with some ideas of content and topics and messaging. Leverage LLMs to optimize workflows is too technical. Stop wasting time on repetitive tasks. Let AI do it for you, etc. So there's lots here. And then I was interested to know who our competitors are and what they're getting right and what they're getting wrong. So it gave me some of those. Matt Wolf, I think, is somebody that you engage with.
He's my hero. I wish I was engaging with him. he's the man.
Okay, in so much as you are watching his videos, let's pretend that you are engaging with him. Matt VidPro podcasts. Basically what it says is that there's a gap in the market. The gap is people are either super technical and super invested, or people are super positive about it. So the gap it's suggesting for us is somewhere in between those two things, where we are actually testing the tools and we don't really know what we're doing. So that's kind of interesting. So I suggest we differentiate ourselves by providing content AI for specific roles. AI for public speakers, demo with our trainer, failure stories. We tried AI for client work. It went terribly. Here's why. We should avoid overloading people. Don't list 50 apps, etc. The format: do live Q&As, segment by expertise, video pro for AI for content, trainer AI for audience engagement, ops specialist AI for SME workflows, avoid monologues, etc. Do AI without the BS, 3 brains, 1 mission, etc. Yes. And then I went deeper on our target market, and it gave us more information about those people. It thinks it will be the next to come on board. And it gave us a nice breakdown where to find them, how to market to reach those people, the messages that might resonate. And then it suggested we go to LinkedIn and put out some surveys of people who fit into this demographic. I asked it for a persona. It gave me efficient-driven Emily, who's an SME owner of a 10-person marketing agency, age 42, from suburban USA, with a business degree, using QuickBooks, Canva, Slack, ChatGPT, wanting to reduce costs, etc. So this looks like a reasonable, to me, persona. And it gave me some questions for those 5-10 people on our LinkedIn networks that we think might benefit from this or might be able to give us a steer. And then it told me how to target those people. And then I said, okay, we also need a name for this new channel. We were thinking about Faked Up as a play on the fakeness and fucked upness of AI, whilst it is also bringing about an improvement for most people. What alternatives would you suggest in that vein? It loved Faked Up. It loved Faked Up. So what it said is Faked Up, the pros: viral potential sparks debate, cons might limit corporate appeal. Score 8.5. It came up with AI Gate, which is a nod to scandals, gotcha moments, maybe some conspiracy theory type stuff. That's overly negative, so that's only 6. WTF AI, I've already got my WTF marketing degree. Funny, relatable, attention grabbing, but it's too vague, unprofessional for some, only 7. AI bullshit mode, bold, transparent, about AI's flaws, hard to brand, 6.5. The AI circus, which I quite like, fun, implies chaos, entertainment, less serious for B2B audience, 7.5. There were some balanced alternatives: critical, constructive, AI unfiltered. Sounds to me like that will be taken already. That scored 9. The AI reality check, 8.5. No more AI BS, 8, 7.5. So interestingly, my Faked Up, which obviously I'm still in love with, came in joint second behind only AI unfiltered. So that's interesting. It came up with some SEO friendly names, but it liked Faked Up the most. Honest AI experiments for real businesses. And then it told me how to check if the name was good. Okay, so I said, okay, this is all brilliant. Can you provide me with a brand guide for the colors, fonts, tones, and visuals that would work best in this venture? So it tells us a little bit about the tone. Mythbusters meets Joe Rogan for AI. AI promised to save us 10 hours a week. It delivered, sort of. Here's the messy truth. Gave me a color palette. Spoke about the usage of thumbnails and fonts, etc. The visual style. So then, because I was here earlier, what I did is what did I do? I mocked this up on like a slide. So this is the font that it recommended, and this was like the tagline that it recommended: testing AI so you don't have to. I thought, because I do this on my marketing channel, we review so you don't have to, is kind of better. But this is the font. These are the colors. So this is a blue, this is a gray, a pink, and a green, which I thought was interesting. It came up with the tagline: we break the hype with real experiments. I thought maybe testing the hype with actual experiments is a little bit better. I played around with the fonts and came up with this logo and put it on the different colors. I asked ChatGPT to come up with something. This was the first thing it came up with. This is the second thing it came up with. And then it completely went stupid. So that, now I went fast because I didn't want it to sound like a monologue. But there's a lot here. I mean, I was talking for 12 minutes. There's an enormous amount here. There is, if I were to compare this to a time when I was doing this kind of work, there's a couple of weeks' work here. Like if you were doing this before the advent of AI, you would have to talk to a lot of people. You'd have to convince a lot of people. They wouldn't want you asking the questions. So you wouldn't ever really get the information you needed to put together something really good. So yeah, I'm really impressed. I mean, it is a couple of weeks' work that this has done. And so essentially, if it's a couple of weeks' work that we've all got done, we've got 6 weeks' work done in our brand in Alex's 5 hours, my hour and 15 minutes, and however Panos decided to spend on it. So this absolutely 100%. I would have been happy when I was running my marketing agency to walk in to a client, and especially considering this is the base, this is where it starts. If I did this in an hour and a half and then had people working on it for a week, I'd be super happy to walk in to a client and say, look, this is what we know about your brand, and this is what we think the direction should be. So I'm impressed. What do you guys think?
Panos?
I liked it. It's like a proper. It's like you did a proper marketing analysis, like what you do at the beginning of like building a brand, and it gave the information, all the information. I was not really amazed by the logos and the colors and everything, but rather than that, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of information to just take in right now, but more or less it takes. I understood it goes into position of of it gave you exactly the what not to do and what to do, and it resonated a lot with what we talked in our last session. So I think it's pretty cool. I am on board with it 50-60% on how it
Okay,
goes.
cool. Well, the thing is,
It's
we've
just
got 3.
very generalized for me until up to now. Until now, it's again still generalized.
Yes.
If we are into the big market right now, it's very generalized.
Yes. The thing is, I should probably let you know that I am colorblind, so I have no idea how horrible these colors are or otherwise.
Thank God, it's so bad.
So I mean, I don't know. But the green looks like the nice mustard yellow that I use in all of my brands. So I quite like that. But yeah, so
I don't know if it's a screen recording or something, but it's not mustard green or whatever you want to call it. It's more like highlight.
Neon.
Fuck your eyes out green.
no, it's called neon green, but in my eyes,
neon.
which don't work properly, it looks like a nice mustard yellow is what it looks like. It doesn't look like
Panos,
green
you're in
at all.
charge of brand. Okay, we know. Okay, where Martin's not in charge.
Okay, but I do kind of like my text version of the logo. I think that's like a place to start. So that might be quite interesting. But to be fair, I think, well, I've been down this road. I created a YouTube channel. I was putting up content every day during lockdown, so probably for about 18 months. I didn't do this much thinking about what I was doing in that entire 18 months. So we are definitely a long way ahead of where I was after 18 months. And the only question I have now is how literally do we want to do this? Do we want to take its advice and see if it actually works? Or how much of its advice are we going to implement to see if it actually works?
From my perspective, right, we're going to go through the 3 of them, and then we should share a finalized version that each of us chooses. And then most likely next week's challenge, or maybe before the challenge, is to agree behind the scenes on the final strategy and then say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But it's AI that chooses with a bit of us. I think, in my perspective, we're going to consult the AI tools in the direction we want to go, but whatever it says, we try it. And then when and if it fails, we use that data and put it back into AI like, hey, the AI told us to do this. Why is it failing? What do we fix? That would be like, I mean, we're doing this for the sake of testing AI, not testing our own business acumen, right? So to me, I think it's going to be that angle, obviously with a bit of our own bias. So to rephrase it, I think Faiked Up will be a company run and thought through by the AI with us 3 consulting it.
Okay, well, I think a little bit differently. I don't think there's going to be a winner today. We're going to be able to say, okay, this strategy or that strategy is right. I think the work probably for the next week is going to be to amalgamate this and take the things that we are good. But I think we need to put more input on this, because otherwise, what's the point of us being here? And then the AI will just come and take us out like next Tuesday.
Let's go to the three.
So it needs to be us
we'll
plus AI. And that's kind of what this was telling me, is that there isn't anyone currently who's bringing three specialists from different areas together to actually challenge it properly. So this is, I think, our role is to properly test and challenge.
Yes, no, what I mean is, so when you see my version of it, mine has more built out like a business plan of what we're going to do and our KPIs per quarter, etc. Mine's much more from an operational standpoint, similar to yours, but detailed differently. So
that's why you're here.
Yeah, but when it comes to it, like, okay, one part of it is like micro courses. I think the AI should be creating those micro courses, and we'll see if they're good or not, if people actually buy them. What I mean is, for the three of us, imagine the outcome is like selling micro courses or whatever. It's not about us making money from that. It's about, did the AI come up with a good enough idea, and what did us as the humans have to do to make that thing happen? So yes, it's the three of us, but we're going to be trying to do what needs to get done rather than really focused on the outcome, if that makes sense. It's about the process, because we don't want people watching this and going, oh, what they're doing is shit because they failed. It's like, when it fails, we take that data and plug it in, because businesses win and fail. Our goal is just to keep trying and learning together what works and what doesn't work, is what I'm trying to explain. That's what I mean by like us consulting it and being the hands. But if it says do XYZ and we all agree on it, then we do XYZ.
Okay, so I really strongly feel like what we need to take away from this is, how do actual human beings get value out of this? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, we don't have to drive into the wall at 90 miles an hour because the AI tells us to, you know? Okay. So it's like, it's because I think at some point in the future, AI is going to have to make a decision about whether it needs human beings anymore. And I would prefer that it decides that it does. You know, I just really strongly feel this needs to be about, how do actual people get value out of AI. Anyway, but that's okay.
Panos?
That's cool.
Panos, you want to take over? Walk us through? Set your own timer, your own 15 minutes, and do what you please.
Okay, so mine is way more simple and a bit more different than what you guys are thinking. Is I'm more, before I show you what I did, is, for me, I have three things in my head. One thing is my company, that I want to optimize it and understand how to scale it, because it's not scalable, because it's not optimized properly in the operations. So I need AI for that. I need AI systems for that, in order to just shortcut the optimization of the company. I thought of what we are doing here as a podcast. For me, I thought of this podcast is more or less like understanding how AI is working, what we can implement, but more or less I see it only from one side. Like, I don't really care about other people, I care about my company. So I care, yeah. I bit though about, I first need, because I don't want to preach AI without using it for me. I don't know how to. So I firmly believe that I first need to find a way to use it for my company, and then if that works, then I can share it to the world and help others. So I firstly need to do it for me. So I'm thinking only in this way right now, because there is a lot of tools out there, and I don't want to get in this chaos, and it's always changing. And I'm using everyday AI, so yeah. And I thought, so there is the one pillar is my company. The second pillar is this podcast we are doing, which I'm still not sure what are the steps. I have a bit in my head what are the steps, and then the third one, if it's going to be created something out of it, it's, for me, it will make sense if it's a system or like an educational platform that has everything all together, that it can be sold out. Yes, because I want things to be scalable in my head. I don't want to be consulting and using a lot of my time all the time. I want this entrepreneurship way. So in your ways, guys, it's more like the consulting way, as I understood until now. Like, I don't know. So I'm still not, we didn't align yet, because we are doing this until we align. So in my head is like this. So I'm going to show you a bit. So I have a brand only for, I checked about Faked Up, also Faked Up. It's the best until now as a name for this podcast. Also, as I checked with my ChatGPT, how we are going to be talking about it. And then I was discussing about this system, that if we are going to create a system and we take all of this information and we can create something as a product, as an educational or whatever, it's, for me, it's Ineon. It's called this company. Yeah, I'm going to show you now here. So I'm going to show you the phases, how I have in my head. One, screen record, screen. Okay, entire screen. Here we are. Ah, nice. Okay, can you see my ChatGPT here?
Yep.
Great. Okay. So, okay, month one. So I was thinking that the next 3 months I'm going to be traveling also. So I was thinking a strategy from my side too, how I'm going to be using it. So I gave it the dates and everything. So I have here some main goals. Is I will show the phase one. So for me, the first month we are going to be doing it is I want to diagnose and declutter what my company is doing and understand what's not working in my company, and show this online, also sharing it with you guys, and making like a short video every week. It says here to show what's getting fixed every week, to show it to the people. Then is to systemize in the second month, while will be traveling and being online, I will be systemizing how multi-ans is working, again in the public. So I'm starting to put on systems, operational systems, and like this. And in the third month, after I'm testing all of this and start to create a system, I'm thinking of implementing the newer the brand by month 4. Whatever we took on, whatever I used as a system for my company, operational, content creation, whatever, I put it in a website for other people also. So I'm starting to share exact, like there is a website for it all, also for what we are doing. And then about our podcast, so my audience, our podcast audience, was a bit similar with you guys. I want to learn from people fixing their own business, not gurus. Founders and creatives who feel behind, tired of fake content, want real-time mentorship insight, crave transparency and actionable mindset shifts. Our pain, for the people that are watching this, the pain points are they see content but no real progress, no real progress stories. They want to follow a journey, not just tips. So I'm putting myself out there, like, here is my business, here's how I'm working on it, and follow this journey. And they want to feel like they are not alone, that we are not all lost in this AI game. And learn while watching someone actually do the work. Mentorship through, and me getting mentored into this, they observe all of this. In Neon is the system, is the website for me that I want to create. If we create a system that is going to work, I would like to put it out there like as a brand. So for me, it's Ineon. And if somebody wants to just get all the systems in one click, they can have it from there. And it's for people that have decision fatigue. There is a shiny tool syndrome. They don't need more tools. They need a system. And and they just need a peace of mind. So if we connect the podcast and whatever happens, I think Ineon comes later, and we can help other businesses also by this. I did a small branding for this at some point. Where is it? Here. I talked with Alex here. So here is how it would look, our AI avatar speaking about the system that we are creating. So here is the avatar. There is always a system there that he describes. And I even did videos from VO3 connected with one So here's like the animation video. It did a bit of mistakes here, but kinda. So I created this in 5 minutes. So I didn't do any work. I just did the prompting, and I created like the brand name and everything. Yes, I think I was a bit confusing for you because I have 3 things in my head, but this is how I work. So yes, this is a bit, yeah.
Okay,
This is my
cool.
brain
I think it's
coming.
Yeah, I think it's interesting where three people can have a conversation and come to completely different ideas about how it's going to work for them. I think it's what makes it interesting. One of the things that I've kind of been thinking about this week is I don't think anyone is going to be able to get value out of all of these things. So I think part of what we're going to have to be doing is thinking about what it is we absolutely need to achieve and coming up with solutions to those things. And then I suppose if we go down that road, then it makes perfect sense. If we come up with systems for, like, one of the things I want to do is clip up all of my interviews from previously. And so I suppose it's interesting if we come up with systems to do that and ways and procedures for doing that, that we share them with people. So yeah,
I think
I think it's
if I can
interesting.
jump in, what this tells me is that, okay, taking it from, I have 3 points, I think, if I remember them all. One, how this is practical for viewers is that, okay, from this alone, we understood that there's a challenge. There's 3 people with 3 different mindsets. And how are we all going to come to an agreement on what happens next? Right. Secondly, I think that, okay, this week we all did the same challenge, but I don't think, like, in all of the weeks we all need to do the same and compare and contrast. Like, when it comes to cutting up your clips, Martin, I'm going to assume you've sort of tried and, to your own lack of focus, or however you put it, failed. I have no interest in chopping up your clips, but Panos does this for a living through his company. I mean, not specifically, but it's one of the things. So maybe there's like a challenge for him where he figures out the most optimized way for you to do it. And then he's like, here's how you do it. See if you can copy exactly what I've done. And then that suits his Enion system idea. What I also see, and it will show in my strategy, maybe because I have so much to show you, so I'm going to try to condense it, is like, Martin, from your ChatGPT, and I got the score 8 on 10, Faked Up, but it doesn't sit with business owners. Yeah, so it's a cool idea for a podcast. If you're typing, Panos, I can hear everything, sorry.
No, I'm not.
It's a cool idea for a podcast name, and it'll get attraction, but then it's not serious enough for like a business owner to be, oh, I'm going to spend money on that, whereas like anyone would. So I don't think anything's not matching at the moment. It's just how we put it together. So yeah, that's cool. I don't know if we want to discuss Panos's first or I jump into mine. What do you guys think?
We're not hearing you, Panos. You're muted.
I gave you all my information. I don't know if you want to discuss it. How did you feel about it? It felt like, okay, I'm going to another dimension of like how you are thinking of this, or yes, I don't know. I just want to see how you felt about it, like the logic.
It was quite different from what I was expecting, and it's quite different from what I thought. But the truth is, of the three of us, you're the small business owner. You're the person who's most like the people that we're hoping will get value out of this kind of experience. So I think what you did was probably the most valid, even if it was the weirdest.
Okay. Yes, because I put myself into the shoes of somebody that is going to be watching this and not
Yeah.
like, I want to get value out of this. Or I want to. Yes, so that's why I was thinking in that way and not more or less on other stuff, like general stuff. I wanted it to get into specifics from right on. So actually, I get also value, so I want to be in it. And at the same time, I think it's going to be very valuable for a lot of small business owners because in my surroundings online and entrepreneurs I speak to, they all know AI, they all want to use it, but they don't know what and how and when and where, and they just have one or two tools and that's it. It's too much for the brain to use everything.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think Alex and I are blessed a little bit in that with the work that I do now, I don't have to go at 1,000 miles an hour 27 hours a day anymore, so I've got time, so I'm not
Amazing.
feeling the pressures. But what I'm seeing is definitely, even from the feedback that DeepSeek has given me, is that the issue, and I can see that this is the issue, how long do you have to spend on this thing before you get some value out of it? Because time is the commodity that small business owners just do not have. So for me, this is a big question, is AI actually going to be delivering value given the amount of time and energy it's going to take to just get it working or get it doing something for you, you know? So I think your perspective, this is what's going on in my life, how am I going to make this work, is probably much more in line than mine. You know, I've got time to dick around with these things. Alex has got 5 hours to spend on
I'm
this
gonna
thing.
steal that as a perfect segue into my section, if that's okay for you guys. So far, and this is based on my limited experience and my biased opinion, yes, I did tell you guys I spent 5 hours, but I have to say all of the value, like if I go 80-20, was in the first 40 minutes to 1 hour. After that, it was literally me just getting lost in complexities to see if I could get something that I never achieved. I know why I didn't achieve it, and I sort of didn't achieve it on purpose to see if I could keep pushing. So I just wrote the steps I sort of went through, and I'm going to explain that, and then I'm just going to go through one of the strategies because I have so many of them. So one thing to know is my ChatGPT knows me inside out. Like it's crazy how much information it has on me, you know? So for sure, all of the outputs are super biased, especially because of that, the memory feature it has between all of the chats. So also what I say is that I started with ChatGPT and Gemini. I didn't use like equal models. So Gemini 2.5, to my limited knowledge, probably screw this one up as well, but is much more reasoning based, whereas ChatGPT 4.0 is not. I then did later use ChatGPT 3, which is the more reasoning model, or whatever it's called, 03, I forget all the codes, just to pair them up. But I'm just putting that out there that I didn't use equal models, and so that's why maybe there was such a difference. I did bring in Perplexity, but later on, but it didn't go so well. So, and think of this as ChatGPT 4.0 versus Gemini 2.5. So ChatGPT really took time to understand me and my ambitions. I used similar prompts. I didn't use the exact same prompt. I'll show you what I put later, but it's like, I'll show it after when I share screen. And sorry if I'm rambling. I'm going to start my timer as well, so I don't. There we go. Yeah, that's 3 minutes. How long am I supposed to have? 15, right? Cancel, stopwatch, timers, 15. Let's make it 13 minutes because I've already been talking. Okay, so ChatGPT really took time to understand me and my ambitions, whereas Gemini, no matter what I told it, would just jump straight into the answers. Like I told it, here's this, ask me clarifying questions, and then let's decide on the final output. And it would give me the full whack with like section 1, 2, 3, and 4. Section 3 would be the questions, but 4, it had already given me the output, even though it needed me to answer questions, which I found really strange. So I think that might have been an issue in my first prompting, because when I opened up a new chat, later on, it did understand to like stop. But the first version of the prompt I had with Gemini was really like, you will do this. This is this. So to think about it, I used a very similar chat in ChatGPT and in Gemini. They both gave me their outputs. With ChatGPT, there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of chat. Gemini was like, here's this. And I would have to try and slow it down, but it did give me really good information. ChatGPT was a lot more human-like and more high level. And Gemini was a lot more straight to the point instructions on what needs to get done. So then what I did was I downloaded I copied the texts of each one, and I told ChatGPT, here's an idea I was working on earlier. How does it compare to yours? And I told Gemini, here's a strategy I was working on earlier. How does it compare to yours? And then can you analyze it thoroughly, take the best bits, and give me like a final outcome? ChatGPT looks at Gemini's and go, this is shit. Basically, it did not like it at all. It's arguing why its version is better. And I put GPTs into Gemini. It's like, wow, this is amazing. This is so cool. This is how we can work these things together. I think a merge would be perfect. This is the outcome. And then when you force ChatGPT to merge it and force Gemini to merge it, ChatGPT actually does merge them and takes the best bit. And Gemini basically takes a few pieces and mainly outputs its own again with a few of the small parts that it liked. So this is why I took so many hours going through, reading, reviewing, etc. Once I said, okay, this isn't working in the individual chats, I then made new channels where I copied this is where I went to Perplexity. So on Perplexity, I said research online and create the best prompt for Perplexity. For Perplexity, where I'll upload 2 different strategies around the same thing. I wanted to analyze it, evaluate it, and come up with the final one. And then I told it, okay, now give me the same prompt optimized for ChatGPT and give me the same prompt for Gemini 2.5. and I put in all the right codes and stuff of which models I was using. And it gave me those prompts. So copied each prompt and the strategy into GPT, into Gemini, into Perplexity, left them go. So up to creating the prompt, Perplexity, great. Then I don't know what Perplexity did. It started pulling information from I don't know where. We had mechanical engineer day rates in it. We had plumbing and pipes. And I was like, okay, this has gone totally wrong. One thing I should say is that in the original prompt, the second prompt is on ChatGPT and Gemini. I also uploaded the transcript of last week. So it knows everything that we know. So I gave it the prompt, the purpose, and uploaded the transcripts from our last podcast. So it really had information to make those strategies. I don't know why Perplexity got lost. It didn't have it, but whatever. So then I kept playing with Gemini and ChatGPT, trying to get them to merge the two strategies together. And this is where I wasted most of the time. Honestly, I could have just stuck with the original ChatGPT one and humanly taken my favorite pieces from the Gemini one, because I probably spent 3-4 hours just reading the same thing over and over. And each time there was less information. So I got less and less and less information as it went on. So that's what I did and why I wasted so much time and why I think I got most of the good output from the first hour. Sorry if that was a lot. So now what maybe I'll do is I'm just going to go to a Google
Can I just
Doc.
interject at this point?
Please.
Can I just say something? Can I just say, look, I'm sorry, Panos, yours isn't the weirdest. Alex has now clearly out-weirded you.
Yeah, but I still ended up with something very similar to yours. So, can you guys see my screen okay?
Okay, good. Yes.
Panos, you're mute. Panos, at some point your face was flashing on and off and I can't hear you anymore. I don't know if Martin can hear you.
I can't hear him either, no.
No, he messed up something with his tech. So anyway, while he does that, I will show you this. So, okay, those are the notes I was just going through of what I had done. And I'm not going to go through it all, but you can see GPT combined faked up strategy blueprint. Then I go down and then there's Gemini combined strategy, the final venture blueprint. It's very differently written, much more like step and technical. This was GPT, the original faked up one. A lot of it, like yours, Martin, was biased towards me. So in yours, it told you to be the host. In mine, it told me to be the host for like no reason.
For mine also, it told me to be the host.
So whoever's using it, it gets told to be the host. Then I have to tell it, no, we need everything to be equal. You can see Gemini, this was its original outcome where, it's just like boom, 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 straight to the point. A lot of steps of what to do. It came up with some cool stuff like the 3 paths, which stayed in. Anyway, as you can see, I just kept copying and pasting. And then I tried making a brand and it went terribly, terribly wrong. So I'm not even going to show you that. But anyway, so here you can see it's long. So I'm not going to go through all of that. What I will probably go through is just this one, which I quite liked. I have to be honest, this was all done on Friday and this is Thursday. So I can't guarantee I have the best. Anyway. Okay, so the project purpose: to build a lean, honest, high-impact media and consulting engine that positions the Faked Up team, Alex, Martin, and Panos, as practical, real-world professionals who understand how to think, test, and implement AI into business. This isn't about becoming AI influencers. It's about showing what happens when experienced operators apply AI to solve real business challenges with structure, experimentation, psychology, and honest outcomes. The goal is to help business owners who feel overwhelmed, confused, or stuck make progress with clarity and confidence. So then the brand positioning, we're not here to hype AI, we're here to use it. And that kind of became like the tag. So it's focused on practical, systems-driven, operator-first content. The operators, it's referring to us three trying to operate AI. Public experimentations, wins, failures, frustrations, doubts, emphasis of the psychology of AI adoption and implementation, because that's quite important to me. And then the 3 unique lenses, very similar to what we've all said: strategic operations, systems and business psychology, leadership training, education, learning frameworks, and content systems, automation, and creative workflows. Is it big enough or should I zoom in?
If it was bigger, it'd be better.
That's what she said. Okay.
That's what she told me as well, actually.
Builds trust through relatable stories, real tools, and useful insights, not polish or hype. So it's really about us being frustrated. Strategic flow. So here you have the weekly podcast and short form content. So I told us we're using Riverside. And topics evolve from live experiences. Each episode is lightly structured around the weekly challenge or theme. So we tried using AI to organize our team, or we explore how automation changes trust, or whatever else. From there, we want to have 3 to 5 clips automatically generated and distributed. So we need another tool to automatically distribute them on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and whatever else. It says create some occasional quote graphics and the CTA. Okay, so here, because it's the final one, it's already going through like the CTA, so it will open up. So what I always ended up on is like, hey, you should kind of have like a free quiz, is most of what ChatGPT and Gemini push to me, which is have a free quiz where people can figure out how faked up their business is, right? So it's like a 2-minute quiz, and that will give you an outcome, which I'll explain later. Then it went into creating modular micro courses. So once we've created a bunch of these podcasts and we've learned, try and create like a low-cost standalone digital products. So like 20 euros per module. You know, like Fanos was saying, how to automate your, how to imagine we can sell how to automate your Instagram content. I mean, there's a million free YouTube videos, so it's a stupid example. But if we figure that out, turn it into a micro course. And it explains a bit of that and comes up with some modules. So actually, no, I'm wrong there, because I went back and forth with it a lot. It was more about the psychology of it and how to implement it in your business than actual tools. So I retract what I just said. And the example modules are like how to delegate in the age of GPT, how to build team SOPs in 30 minutes with AI. So it's tech agnostic. Internal communications that don't drain your energy, how to review tools without wasting time. So it was more, this was it, because I fought with it a bit, how to actually, as a business owner or manager, use AI, but not a specific tool. Use a concept of AI. So whether you use DeepSeek, Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, HeyGen, this, that, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we're focusing on the psychology, and that was going to be our USP. I have 3 minutes left. I better be fast. Okay, then there was going to be a consulting funnel. So in this case, it put me first. Later, I told it to split it up because it's biased to me. So the entry point is like, AI readiness quiz, like how faked up is your business. And then once people do it, we offer them this. I don't like, I changed it later. We could offer them to make it fair. At the end of that, it either leads to the answers take you, Martin would be your best bet, or Panos would be your best bet, or Alex would be your best bet. And then I use in my consultancy, and I told it to use the same, a sort of money back guarantee if you don't score the workshop 8 on 10 or higher. Right? So you do like a 90-minute to 2-hour workshop, which is pre-structured, one focused on content. Yours, Martin, maybe is on leadership or however you want to. Mine's on operations. And if from the start and the end of that workshop, all your team doesn't get an aggregate score of 8 on 10 based on the specific scoring criteria, then you don't pay and you get a refund. And then the outcomes is clear diagnostics of bottlenecks, tailored roadmap with tool and process suggestions, and we can offer them extended support, implementation, or training. It talks about the content to client flywheel. So we have real conversations, which create real value and trust, short clips and strong episode titles to draw attentions, the soft CTA, so the quiz or a free resource, selling the small micro courses for people that are just curious, converting those into workshops, which can then lead to consultancy or whatever the three of us wanted to upsell. Why this model works. So we're focused a lot on speed over polish, etc. I feel like I'm running out of time. So as you can see, and it's quite in-depth. It goes into the risk and mitigation. So what's the risk? This is the mitigation. I'm not going to read it all. And then the immediate action plan. Alex shares the strategy document with Martin and Panos. Each team answers what excites me, what worries me, what would I change. Record 3 episodes fast, even if rough, and test it. And then build this simple landing page. And it gave me all the tools. And then the long-term potential. So the Gemini one, I mean, I'm just going to skim through. I'm not going to read it all, but you can see it's much more specific in like the core modules of how the business would work. So it answered me quite differently. So you can see like it really, really went quite detailed when I gave it the final outcome. But that is overall the kind of strategy that it came up with. And then I agreed with it here, like quarter 1 is the launch and validate. So, we're putting things out, seeing if anyone would answer an AI readiness diagnostic quiz, however you want to name it, how faked up is your business. And the KPI over 3 months is how many people completed it and could we sell 3 workshops, 1 per founder over 3 months, just to prove that there's a conversion and an ROI on this endeavor. Quarter 2 was first revenue and systemization. So then from there, you want to achieve 5,000 euros in cumulative workshop sales. Then after that, it says, once you figure out what people's main problems are, then you start creating and launching the first micro courses, and then you optimize and scale, doing a variety of other things. So it gave me quite a bit of detail, because I pushed it to, on how to actually monetize this venture and actually create the strategy. I've got 30 seconds, so let me just see if I would screen share. I don't know, GPT share. You can see this. No, that's the wrong one. I should not have screen shared that, so I need to delete that out. Yeah, anyway, everyone knows what ChatGPT looks like. I don't know if we need to go through the whole thing or not.
I think it's okay. I think we've got a sense. I think what we've done is we've come up with three quite different things, I think. You guys are clearly much more focused on kind of the monetization and how it's going to give back in that way. I mean, we said last week in the conversation that's not my interest necessarily, but I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is going to be great if we're going to have a little course business running, and that's not going to take up too much of our energy. That would be absolutely fine. And mine, I think, is much more about kind of the direction where we are now, where we're starting. So we need to make some decisions. Yeah.
Just on that, so this wasn't my input. So I told it, this is what we have and how can we maximize it. And here's the transcript of what we spoke about. What are the logical next steps? All I have is 3 guys who agree to record stuff, and possibly 4 to 8 hours per week from each person. So that's all I gave it. And then it came up with both Gemini and ChatGPT came up with, okay, this is how you could monetize it. And then once it was asking me those questions, then I went down that route with it, if that makes sense. I'm very happy to not monetize it. I just want us to talk, have a challenge, and complete it. That's just to specify. I don't really care which way it goes.
Yeah, but Panos is running a business. He definitely wants to monetize it.
At least if I'm not going to monetize it, I need to use it for my business.
Yes. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I just think it's interesting. And the thing is, it's making the point that I've thought about AI the longest, is it's AI plus the person. So it's going to be like, who's going to win from AI? I think it's probably people like us who are active doing stuff in the world, early adopters maybe, looking to pick up this stuff. But it's about the value that we bring as much as anything else, because we've all gone away with a similar brief, and we've come back with 3 quite different things. We need to make some decisions. It feels to me like we are happy with the name Faked Up for the podcast. Are we happy with that? Okay. And it looks like there's a future brand, which will be eNeon, which is when we've got this stuff working and when we've got stuff that we can share with people that's of value, we can charge for, then we've got a brand to do that with as well. So we're making good strides. There are some things in mind. There are some to-dos in mind. Like, for example,
One second, just to clarify. So I went down that route in one of my long chats, and what it suggested is, yes, have Faked Up, but then maybe one idea is to have because I have whole business models and everything built out, which I didn't share, but have 3 separate, there's 4 revenue streams. There's one which is Faked Up. So for example, any revenue that comes through Faked Up, whether imagine we did monetize on YouTube or whatever, that's shared however we want or all reinvested. And then let's say, just for the sake of the argument, there was 3 workshops, we all had 1 each. 50% goes to the founder, 50% go the person running it, who's selling it, and 50% goes into it. Or if we were building this system, right? Either Panos just says, hey, I'm going to build this system and it's on Multians and we all agree. Or if it's on a shared thing, then 50% goes to him for building the system and making sure that it's running and working and people are happy. And then 50% back into the company or brand. So what I'm getting at is, I don't know if there needs to be another brand or if we use this as sort of a lead generator for then our own personal skills, and then you have to monetize it your own way. So Panos, if you want to build and sell systems, go for it under Multians. You don't need another brand. Or if we do it that way. That's just why I stopped there based on my conversation. I have no preference because it's a fun experiment either way.
Yeah. I'm also in the fun experiment camp. I don't need this to make money necessarily, but it would be awfully nice if it were, so I'm not going to resist if people start offering us money. There are some to-dos in mind. So, for example, it's suggested that we target people who are our key targets on LinkedIn and ask them to complete a survey. So what I will do is I will extract that and get that to you, because I think that sounds like an eminently good idea. So if we target 10 people from each of our LinkedIn networks with that survey, it's about 5 minutes work. I'll send you the questions. We need to kind of amalgamate these things or merge these things so we have something. So maybe we can all share what it is that we've done and we can merge those things.
Should
And
I
so we've
take that
decided
job?
names.
If you guys
You can take
both
that
give me
job, yeah.
yours, because they're a bit smaller and mine are so vastly complex and different, maybe whether it's on this recording or afterwards, we just all agree on the direction, and then I will take the best out of all of it manually and with AI to come up with something final we can use.
Yeah, good. But I think it needs to be kind of a succinct, it needs to be usable.
Yeah.
Because what I'm kind of getting a sense of is our different kind of approaches to these things. I'm clearly big picture. Panos is clearly creative businessman. And Alex, you are clearly detail. I want to test it. I'm going to spend the first hour asking him how it wants the prompts to look like. So I think that's also interesting. I think it's really interesting. So I'll pull the to-dos out of mine because there's a few, and I think we can do those things. I think what we need now is we've decided on the name, so we can go away and we can create a LinkedIn page and a Twitter account and a Instagram account and a TikTok account and a YouTube channel, so we can get this up. It feels to me like the next thing is the brand. Like, is that what we need to do? So if we take your idea, Alex, that we each take a task each, I can't be trusted with the colours. We've established that today. But I am interested to have a play with the text and what maybe the logo looks like. So I could get that done, but obviously using the tools. So that's something that needs to happen. What else needs to happen between now and next week? Like, what are your challenges going to be? That's maybe the question. So your challenge is going to be to amalgamate these things, Alex, and come back with something that's really useful.
I think there's what we'll do is we all have the challenge of asking the 10 questions to the questions to so that's just an equal thing. So we all have that shared. And then I think maybe Panos and Martin, you guys should work on the brand together and then pitch it to me. So I won't see anything until like maybe you guys can work together. So then you can come up with version A, version B, pitch it to me, and I'll be like, oh, I think this and this. And then we'll see what was AI, what was you guys. And that can be interesting because I've, through the agency built a few brands as so have you guys. And then I will work on the strategy and pitch that to you guys. So there'll be a bit of like, here's what me and AI did, and here's what you guys did. And also because I know Panos is the busiest of us outside of this, him having a shared challenge with you, Martin, maybe lessens the weight on him, if that sounds fair to everyone.
I'm happy with that. Unless there is a third thing that we need to get done this week. Is there a third thing or not?
So it's
okay,
the
cool.
brand
So let's
and
go with
the 10 questions and isn't it?
Yes, that's what you and I will be doing. And then Alex is going to go away and put together all the strategies and come back with something that's workable and usable.
All right.
All right, good.
Super.
Okay, so we'll be looking at kind of graphics. Yeah, 100%. Okay, good. Now, next Thursday, I'm going to be busy till 7 o'clock my time. So if we can do this again at 7:30 next week, that works for me. Is that cool?
The same.
Yeah. 1 second. Should I just turn this off and then we can discuss scheduling right after we stop recording? Okay. Whoever's watching, thank you so much.
Okay, cool.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.